Hey everyone, welcome back to more political chatter. So today we are doing 2022 Senate elections. I do these pretty frequently, but on this channel I mainly focus on the 2024 presidential election. But definitely something that will be very important because these are the people who make the laws in our country, who govern us. So let's take a look at the 2022 United States Senate elections. So going to California, I think that this would stay safe Democratic, and of course President Biden is immensely unpopular, and that's going to hurt the Democrats badly. This is a red wave year, and that will be extremely influential. Hawaii, I think, would stay solid. We'll get to Maryland because that one's pretty interesting. New York, essentially I see that staying solid. Vermont will definitely stay solid. And, some people might say it's likely, but I live in Connecticut. Richard Blumenthal is running for re-election for like the 100th time in a row. I see Connecticut staying solid. He is extremely popular here, and people like to vote in my state. People like to vote Democratic more on the senatorial level than the gubernatorial level. So moving on to likely states for the Democratic Party. States like Oregon and Washington and Illinois will all be likely for the Democrats, which puts them at 44 seats. Essentially what it is like these are Democratic states, but with Biden being extremely unpopular, Democrats will not be energized to go out and vote. Really, progressive Democrats, especially those progressives, with their senators not being very progressive, those who live in states where their senators aren't progressive, they're not going to be that energized to go out and vote for, what Biden represents. They really aren't. So Washington, Oregon, and Illinois, regardless of the candidates, I believe would be likely. We'll get to Utah. That's the second interesting one. Idaho, North and South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky. Kentucky, I believe Rand Paul's running for re-election, but still, he's unpopular, but still he has a seat. Alabama, in a red wave year, this won't be another Doug Jones. That will be solid. And then South Carolina, Tim Scott's running for re-election, who's extremely popular, and I see that being safe. And Indiana, I see being safe, and we'll get, there might be one more safe state. So these are all safe. Utah, you might be wondering about that, but we will get to it. And then Oklahoma special. There is a special election for the state of Oklahoma, and there's actually a former Republican running as for the Democratic Party, but still, the Republican Party is extremely popular in the state of Oklahoma, and with Biden being unpopular, I see it being solid. I don't see this being a competitive race at all. In the state of Iowa, with Chuck Grassley, people were thinking that Chuck Grassley was going to retire, but he's not, and still, he has been elected ever since 1980, just over and over, and I see the state of Iowa being safe. And then going over, so these are all the likely states. There might be a few more. We'll get to them. Going to the likely states, I think that state of Florida would be likely for Marco Rubio. He is the incumbent senator. He is running for a third term, I believe, in the Senate for 18 years. He's been in for 12, I believe. Yeah, probably third term. But anyway, Marco Rubio is extremely popular among independents, Republicans, and many Democrats in the state of Florida. He's young. I believe he's definitely Latino. I believe he's Cuban, I want to say, but I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, I do think that would be likely. Just because of Marco Rubio's popularity, this is going to be a very, not very competitive race here. And going over to the state of Alaska, I think that would be likely for Lisa Murkowski. Make it, yeah, probably be likely. Because Donald Trump, I'm sorry, let me restart. So, Lisa Murkowski is a Republican senator from the state of Alaska. She's the incumbent, and she voted to impeach Donald Trump. She voted to convict Donald Trump. So, Donald Trump actually endorsed someone else. He did not endorse Lisa Murkowski, and this Trumpian Republican will run against her in the general election. But Alaska isn't a state that really loved Trump that much. Remember, they went solidly for Mitt Romney in 2012, but not solidly for Trump in 2016 and 20. They went likely for him in 16 and 20. So Alaska, with Trump not being hugely popular here, I mean, sure, Lisa Murkowski will lose a few votes, but ultimately I don't think it will be enough. And going to the state of Ohio, this is where things get a bit closer. So Ohio, I think it will be lean Republican. So Tim Ryan is on the Democratic side, and he's going to be nominated, definitely. But the Republican side is a bit more divided, if you will, for lack of better words. So J.D. Vance is running. Josh Mandel is running, who I believe, people think that J.D. Vance is going to win the nomination, but personally, I think that Josh Mandel, being a businessman, and businessmen, in recent years have been doing very well in the Republican Party, I think that Josh Mandel is going to come out on top in Ohio. And I think that he's narrowly going to overcome, Tim Ryan in the general election, just because it is a Republican state. But I don't see J.D. Vance doing that well. I mean, he's going to be out of touch with a lot of voters. And Tim Ryan is a fairly popular U.S. representative. Remember, Tim Ryan was a presidential candidate in 2020. He ran for president. He was that popular to run. I'm not saying he lasted very long, but he ran for president, and that's always something. Going up to state of New Hampshire, I think that would be lean Democrat. Maggie Hassan is running for re-election, and the Republicans are just completely destroying themselves in the state and many other states. Their primaries are so divided between moderate Republicans and Trumpian Republicans. They are performing a self-destruct, and this is a serious problem for the Republican Party. And New Hampshire's Republican primary is so divided that Trumpian Republicans will stay home or moderate Republicans will stay home. Either way, Republicans will stay home, and most Democrats, since Maggie Hassan is a moderate, will turn out, and independents will turn out for Maggie Hassan, and that will be enough. Maggie Hassan will win in November by a lean margin. Okay, moving on to the state of Georgia. Who's running? I feel like I should know who's running in the state of Georgia. Jeez. Cannot believe I knew who's running in the state of Georgia. Jeez. Here, let me look it up on my phone. Who's running for Senate in the state of Georgia? Jeez. Because, governors, I'm watching Georgia very closely in the governor's race with Stacey Abrams. Oh my God, Warnock, obviously, oh my God. Raphael Warnock, how could I forget that? I have a channel called The Political Chapter, and I'm forgetting who's running for the state of Georgia. So, we'll get to Georgia. Yeah, oh my God. Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker, obviously. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll get to state Georgia. Going over to Colorado, I think that would be likely Democrat, because Michael Bennet is extremely popular here. He has, he in the past has won Republicans. He has won independents. He has won Democrats. He has a good record. He is a very bipartisan senator who, was famous for standing up to Ted Cruz, and he's a very popular senator. He's another one who ran for president in 2020, and he lasted pretty long. He didn't have, a whole lot of support, but he lasted a while, and that always shows something. I think that Michael Bennet will win in the state of Colorado by a likely margin. Going over to Nevada, I think that this would be a tilt Republican state. I mean, it's a very close state. It's a swing state. There's a lot of states like this: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, etc. These are just generally called swing states, purple states. And the fact of the matter is no matter how popular the incumbent Democratic senator is, the fact of the matter is Joe Biden is extremely unpopular. Democrats will not be energized to go out and vote, while Republicans are. Republicans are so energized to go out and vote. In 2020, they really weren't. Most of them weren't. The really Trump fans were, but the rest were not. And that's why Joe Biden won. But this year, it's the complete opposite. 2022 will be a red wave year. So, Nevada, tilt Republican. Going up to the state of Wisconsin, I think that this would be lean Republican. So the race is between Ron Johnson and Mandela Barnes. Sorry, Mandela Barnes. I'm saying this like before parties have even nominated them, but most of them are so obvious because Mandela Barnes is the Attorney General, I think. Oh no, Lieutenant Governor. Oh my God, is Ron Johnson the governor? I think I'm getting this wrong. I think that Ron Johnson is the governor. Either way, Wisconsin is a pretty conservative state. It's the most conservative in the blue wall. We have to keep that in mind. And in a red wave kind of year, I think that will take into effect majorly in the state of Wisconsin. Biden is heavily unpopular here, and I think that will play out significantly. I do think that state of Wisconsin would be a lean Republican. Going down to North Carolina, I think the same. I mean, Trump performed well here in 2020 when he was expected to lose the state, according to many polls, but he hung on to it, and it's, essentially it's called a swing state, but it's leaning conservative. I mean, sure, they have a Democratic governor, Roy Cooper, but still, it is a Republican state. There are more Republicans. So there are a lot of independents, in the state of North Carolina. If not, there might be more independents than any other state. But anyway, so I do think that North Carolina would go to the Republican Party simply because there are a lot of Republicans, and in a red wave year, it is likely to go Republican. All right, so moving on to the state of Georgia. I think that this will be lean Republican, very close to being tilt. That gives the Republicans 50 seats. So, in the state of Georgia, Raphael Warnock is the incumbent. He is not very popular at all. He just is not. Polls have showed it. Approval ratings has shown it. His approval rating is down. The people of Georgia don't approve of him. And, he is an African American, but his, the Republican is definitely going to be Herschel Walker, and he's also an African American. So, that African American vote will, most of it will be split. Most of it's going to go to Raphael Warnock, but, more split than usual. So, African Americans won't turn out heavily for Raphael Warnock. That won't come into play much. So, yeah, he's going to lose re-election, and it's going to be a lean seat. Alright, so moving on to the state of Arizona. Alright, so in Arizona, Mark Kelly is running for re-election. And I think that Mark Kelly will win his seat. I think that this will be a very narrow win. Definitely a tilt margin. But, I mean, if you go on his, you always get Mark Kelly ads with Cory Booker, with what's her name? Not Matt, Gabby, can't think of her last name, Gabby Giffords. He's running a good campaign. He just is. He simply is. And he's campaigning around Georgia. He has the ads, and he has the money pouring in. People are donating a lot. He has the money. This is a state that is shifting left. We have to remember that. And really, this is the most important part. If a Trump type Republican is nominated, then, those McCain supporters will remember that this is someone who likes Trump, and Trump made those rude comments about John McCain. And I think that Mark Kelly will just narrowly be able to keep his seat. And, you're going to disagree with me here, but in my opinion, he is going to win his seat once again. So let's go to the state of Utah. This one is one of the interesting states. I think that it will be likely Republican, just because Evan McMullin is running an independent campaign, as he did in 2016, to stop Trump. He's going to take away votes, but then again, Trump won it by a solid margin in 2016, and, But, on the senatorial level, I think that Evan McMullin will come into play more because, this is a local race, and all three candidates come from the state of Utah, if that's a good explanation, which it is not. So Maryland is the other interesting state. I think that this will be solid Democratic seat. I left it because there's a chance that Larry Hogan runs for the Senate. He's the extremely popular governor. But ultimately, I really think that he's preparing for a 2024 presidential bid, and I don't think that he would focus his politics on a senatorial campaign in the meantime. I really don't. I think that he will announce this year. So I do think that the state of Maryland will be solid Democratic. And then going to the state of Pennsylvania. So this is, and I think that this will be tilt Democratic. And I'm sorry if you disagree with me. But the thing is about Pennsylvania, it's that it's another one of these states where the Republican Party is destroying itself. these competitive primaries are just too competitive. It's not good for the party. Good primary is good for the party. 2020 was very good. It gave the Democrats a chance. Brought people who weren't interested in politics, like those who supported Andrew Yang. It brought those into politics. It brought those people into politics, and they got politically involved, and many of them joined the Democratic Party. So, but this is just too far. They are attacking each other so much, and the party is divided between moderate Republicans and Trumpian Republicans. There is a serious and concerning divide in these primaries, and Pennsylvania is just that. See, Dr. Oz, I believe, will win the Republican nomination, and I think that if he does, then he will lose. If Lou Barletta is nominated, then I believe that Lou Barletta would win, because he is a U.S. representative and more acceptable to Democrats and independents. But at this point in time, I don't see Pennsylvania being a Republican state because of this critical primary. So the Republicans win 51 seats to the Democrats 49. They win Nevada, they win Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Ohio. And the Democrats win Arizona, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania, just to name a few, of course. Those are the closer states. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Check out this Google form, which is on my channel. Oops, those are the responses. Wasn't supposed to show that. Don't look. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Now, see you all tomorrow.